So I finally got a chance to see that new Avatar movie that everyone's talking about.
I don't know what the fuss is all about. It's actually a really good movie. You gotta see it in 3D! So have you been living under a rock? Or a pineapple? Or this thing?
It's a classic story of man in the elements. One young man against an entire army.
I have no idea why it's so controversial. I mean, all my friends are telling me not to watch it. They also told me not to watch Sex and the City too. But boy, were they wrong about that one.
The movie lives up to the hype for sure, especially the special effects. Say that 3 times fast.
So I guess what I'm trying to say is, Avatar is actually a really good movie. You know, it's just too bad that M. Night Shyamalan totally boned us in the ass with The Last Airbender.
You didn't know I was talking about the blue people, did you? If you haven't watched The Last Airbender yet, let me save you some time. Alright, so the movie's about a serious man boy who gets trapped in an air bubble and these hot guys abduct him and then this wet chick's all like, oh no! So then they release some hard guys from their chains and then they meet this ice bitch and then this fish dies, so she dies and then this huge tsunami comes crashing down into Indonesia and then they all bow down to the mysterious man boy. Sounds like a good movie, but that's probably because I said it better than M. Night Shyamalan but Ding Dong ever could.
Basically, there were 5 major problems.
Now we all know that about 1 year ago, Noah Ringo was announced to be the new Avatar, and bald-headed little Asian kids all around the world were in tears, including David.
Really? A white Avatar? I didn't know that this was a prequel to The Last Samurai.
I never expected yellow-face casting, especially from Nickelodeon, who casted Mr. Wynn from Hey Arnold and Kimmy from the Rugrats.
Mr. Wynn, was that you singing?
Yes, I love to sing.
Or M. Night Shyamalan, who just recently lost his Asianness.
I mean, did anybody else notice that in a village of all these Eskimos and Asians that it was all the white people that could bend water? I mean, what's the deal with that?
Could it be Michael Phelps, waterbender extraordinaire?
You know, if they were gonna hire Caucasian actors, they should have at least picked ones that could act. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Jackson Rathbone. Stop looking at everybody like you want to eat them.
At least they got the Fire Nation right. Dev Patel was a good choice. I think they went with Indians because they're so spicy.
What are you called?
Jake Sully.
Learn well, Jake Sully.
Avatar as Avatar? Aang as Ong? Sokka as Sokka? Iroh as Iroh? How else could you butcher the names, Mr. Shyamalan?
You know, the cartoon was already in English. You didn't have to translate it to Japanese on Google Translate and then have it translated back into English. So Mr. Shyamalan had a pretty difficult task. He had to condense 20 episodes into a feature-length film. Take your time, dude. I mean, use 2.5 hours or try splitting into 2 movies.
I don't know, that would make 2 bad movies instead of 1. The action was so slow, it was like reading a book. Why couldn't skip to the last page like I usually do?
So the fight scenes kind of reminded me of those old turn-based video games like Final Fantasy VII on the original PlayStation. Basically, it takes 15 seconds to do one move, and then the enemy doesn't try to avoid it or anything. He just sits there and takes it like a dead hooker. And at the end of the fight, the bad guys just disappear. Just like the audience.
You are the last of your kind.
When I was watching the movie, I was completely emotionally numb to the actions and events that were going on in the movie.
You know, I actually watched the entire Avatar animated series, and it seems I connected more to the cartoon characters than I did to the actual actors.
Aang is supposed to have the innocence and heart of a child, but he turned out to be more serious than Batman. And I mean Christian Bale Batman, not George Clooney Batman. Sokka wasn't the lovable fool from the show. He was just, well, a fool.
I couldn't really tell if the actors were angry or serious or just trying really hard to hold in a fart. That includes you, Dev Patel, Mr. Slumdog Millionaire. I know you're the biggest star in the whole film, but just calm down and relax. Let it go. Pretty sure they're not that flammable.
I didn't care that all the airbenders were slaughtered. I didn't care that the Earth Kingdom was enslaved. I didn't care that Princess Yue died. Well, I mean, she was hot and all, but I just met her. Just like the dead hooker. I mean, I did care about Zuko, but then I felt kinda dirty.
You know, when I heard that M. Night Shyamalan was gonna direct The Last Airbender, I got really excited. I mean, this is the same guy that directed The Sixth Sense and Signs. But you know what? He's also the same guy that directed The Village and The Happening. So I didn't know what to expect.
As you may know, M. Night Shyamalan Dalai Lama is infamous for his twist endings.
And the twist for this movie? It's not really based on the animated series. It's actually based on his friend Dev Patel and how he spent his summer after winning the Indian Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
What a twist!
Basically, we spent $16 to watch the worst movie of the year, get a headache in 3D,
And the popcorn was stale.
If you haven't watched The Last Airbender yet, I suggest you don't. Just stick to the cartoon.
I wish we can go back in time and get a refund and get Avatar on Blu-ray.
I've got the sample things, I've got the rain and spring, got spicy chicken wings and French fries.